Guys, I want to get loud all of a sudden.
Do it.
Sorry, I'm gonna.
It's you. I knew it was coming.
I'm sorry, guys, but I need to do that.
It is. You feel like Poseidon chucking that bugger down in the water.
Chucking that bugger. Did you butt out that deer? I did not butt out that deer, but the next one I get, okay, it's getting its butt out.
Is that little Stevie out here in the back?
Drobop. Bow drop, I'm sorry. Drobop. Hello. Stay tuned. I'll be back after my seizure. Every little chipmunk that was running around, everything's dead quiet, and I went like that just happened.
I saw what is in essence a nature-gasm.
All right, welcome back to the Sonic Campfire. We are here. This is the Rutten River Pursuit podcast, and we got an epic show for you guys tonight. Hope you got your laughing hats on.
Yeah, buddy.
I do.
Right. So let's see who's here tonight. I'm Ryan.
I'm Catfish.
And I'm Sean.
I'm Steve.
I'm Dave.
I'm Will.
And this is a show that I had picked up here. I haven't been at the mic here for a while. And
Yeah,
I'm
hold on a
excited to be
second.
back.
Bless your heart.
Who are you again?
Welcome back, bud.
I'm your cousin, if you forgot. Yeah, that's right.
Sean, the Sean Holsinger.
The Sean Holsinger.
Welcome back, bud.
Hey,
Fly
thanks a lot.
fishing guide to the stars.
It's been a while.
Amen.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
It's been a
we've missed
busy
you.
season for me.
You've been away making your beard look epic.
It has been
like
growing
it.
good, hasn't
I like
it?
it.
I'm getting that salt and pepper Phil look.
Oh, it's perfect.
What's he always say? Ladies love a
Silverback.
Silverback.
Yeah.
But anyway, this has been a show that I've been looking forward to for a while. I've been in contact here with this guy for a while, and we have a very special guest with us tonight. It's Hank Patterson. If you guys are into YouTube and you're
The
fly fishermen
Hank
like
Patterson.
me. The Hank Patterson.
Yeah. The Hank Patterson. There's like 14 of you guys and then me.
Versus
Like, I
Hank
had no idea. You guys start going around the table and you're like, oh, you're like, we're going to go around the table and introduce ourselves and then we'll get to you. I didn't know that was like 45 minutes of show.
We're even missing
Then I
a few
start,
people
like,
this week.
Finding out that some of you are cousins and related, and I'm like, oh my hell, I'm on a hillbilly show. I don't know what the hell's going on.
It is a Pennsylvania Dutch country.
Appalachian.
You know what's funny? Where are you guys? I don't even know where you're at.
Yeah, so we're Central PA.
Like, give me an address.
We're based out of Central PA, the Harrisburg area.
All right, so I was up in, where was I at in Pennsylvania? In East Stroudsburg.
There you go, yeah.
Yep.
You know where that is?
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I got back, and yesterday from the Easy Pass toll people, I got a $400 worth of tickets.
Oh,
That's about
From a
right.
trip I did in September. Did any of you? Can any of you help me out on that deal?
I just don't pay them.
Who's connected?
I don't think
God,
we
none
have.
of you.
Yeah,
None of you.
no.
This
We're
is
close
silent.
to the state
God.
capitol, but not that close.
Why am I on this call?
It's Turnpike Hotline.
Hank, I ask myself that every week.
People are like, didn't you get an Easy Pass? I'm like, I'm from Idaho. I've never seen a toll road in my entire life.
So you just like blew through the toll booths and didn't think
Yeah, I
this
blew
stop?
through them. Yeah, 400.
Slowed down just enough to wave.
We also.
Well, I could have stopped for like an hour and a half and like read the instructions, but I'm like, I got somewhere to be. And $400 later, I think, oh hell, I should have probably stopped and,
Oh,
and read
bless
the
your
directions.
heart.
Hey, did you go slow enough through the toll booth to get their family picture?
Oh yeah, no, they sent pictures of me driving through it. It's nice.
We
I
also
thought,
do-
Well, you know what? So I autographed him.
I was
Nice.
gonna say,
I just autographed it. I said, Hank Patterson. I sent it back in hopes that whoever's working that day is a fly fisher.
just write him a letter in crayon and tell him I thought that was the welcome center, and I didn't want to talk to y'all.
It's like in crayon with my left hand. I'm like, that way they just feel sorry for me. They're like,
right.
oh man, this guy's from Idaho. He didn't get past the third grade. Let's just let it go this time. He ain't got $400.
We also do
What's this guy
gambling
do for a
counseling as
living?
well.
Yeah,
Spending that kind of money.
like gambling counseling is like you teach people how to gamble. Yeah, it's like gambling isn't your
That's
problem.
us.
You just suck at it. It's $50 on a hard 8 all night long. Eventually, that thing's going to hit.
I guarantee
Always
it.
go with the comeback bet. You know, you start falling behind, then you double up your bet.
Double it
you
up.
Come back twice as fast. You probably called to talk to me about gambling.
It's a sound strategy. I like it.
It's the same thing with fishing.
Yeah.
You know?
It is.
Yeah, just cast more.
Cast more and snap it.
Yeah, snap it, slap it down, skate it. Like, eventually something's going to hit the thing. All you got to do is cast more. Cast faster, cast harder, cast more.
Mend it.
Let's back up. What were you here in Pennsylvania for?
I was up. I was shooting some video at East Stroudsburg University.
Nice.
Boy, that's a long story. It's not that. It's a boring story.
It's not funny?
I could launch. It's not funny. It's no. But I was there. And that's as far as it goes. Did you go to school there?
That's
Do you know
pretty
anybody
good.
up there?
Yeah, we got relatives up there.
Yeah.
All
of
through
course
it
you
up
do.
there,
Sure.
yeah.
I mean, hell, you guys are. I feel like I'm talking. I feel like there's a family reunion right now.
Pretty much is.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
So you're a big fan of our show. Love it.
Yeah. You have all of our shows on cassette. Well, it sounds like Sean. It sounds like you don't even show up for your own show. So you're asking a lot of me.
Yeah, I know. Well,
That's true.
I'm 2 hours away,
Yeah,
so it's hard for me
what's
to make
the
her
deal
down
with
all
that,
the time.
Sean?
Deal, Sean.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that Hank brought it up.
2 hours on the Turnpike. That's $400.
Hey, FYI, if you're gonna blow through Turnpike ones, blow through the Florida ones. They're a lot cheaper. I only got $26 on my picture.
Dude, it was rough. I was like, at first I got like 3 tickets for $150, and then I got those paid, and then day before yesterday I got 3 more and now it's $400. I'm like, what? I feel like every month I'm just going to get more.
That's Pennsylvania for you.
Yeah.
Welcome to Pennsylvania.
Yep.
You signed up for the
Don't come back.
mystery toll box, is what that is. It's the mystery toll
Well,
box.
luckily the rental car company helped me out a ton with that by not mentioning it.
I want to mention something. Didn't you
Thanks, budget.
weren't you, Sean, tying flies and spontaneously combusted the other day? What happened to your fly shop?
Yeah, we kind of did. We
I saw pictures. It was all
yeah.
smoke. And
I don't know if you know, Hank. I have a fly shop I have a YouTube channel too, and that's how I.
No, he does. He knows all about
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, here you come. Yeah, you kidding me? I was just in there the other day.
yeah, sure. But no, we
he had a pack of matches in his pocket.
Yeah.
probably did. But no, we have a fly shop in central Pennsylvania here, and we had
burned down.
We had a little fire. It didn't burn down. We had set something a little too close to the heater and had a little smoke damage. So we've been cleaning like mad here the last couple of days.
There's
Sure,
there's a fire sale, Hank.
Yeah, so there's a
It's
fire
fine.
sale coming.
Cousins get first dibs, though, so you're
Yeah.
going to have to wait.
I want one of them
It's
Orbis
that way.
Robs for $25.
I'll tell you what, man. Yeah, you get like a little bit of insurance money, huh?
Yeah, a little bit coming.
There's a
Oh, there you go.
There's a singed midge hatch coming. I heard.
Oh, that's nice.
Smoky leaders.
We're now selling scented flies.
They smell just like a campfire. Everything should.
Did you get that all fixed up though?
Yeah, we're in the process of it, doing good, and we'll get it worked out. Be back up online here shortly. So, thanks for asking, Catfish.
Yeah.
But
You can fish all those flies like anywhere where there's been a fire, right? Because I mean they're just used to it now. I mean that's
By
the
now
scent
they
that
are,
they're
yeah.
after.
yeah, hey, that,
California
You should get a
trout.
hold
gonna
of the-
say, is
you
it
get a
too
hold
soon
of
to
the
mention
power bait
California?
company.
I should start to do some promotions on Facebook out in the California area for that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there.
Oh, bless your heart.
Burnt midgets.
Not midgets.
What are they called?
Midges.
All right. Well,
It's
what's
different.
First of all, let's back up. It's Hank, right?
Yeah, Hank.
Yeah.
Hank, I apologize. I'm not going to be any good for you tonight because I know nothing about fly fishing.
Just
Me and Sean are oil and water. I love the guy to death, but I have never touched a fly rod. I find it intriguing enough that I can sit through it. However, I know that you guys have an amazing passion for it, and that's about all I can say about fly fishing. However, I know that so the guy we're talking to is your biggest passion is literally fly fishing, just like Sean.
I love fly fishing.
Okay.
So tell us about fly fishing.
Well, and actually, Catfish, just so you know, Hank is the perfect guy to have on the phone because I actually just watched at least 2 parts of the 8-part series on how Hank is able to introduce bait fishermen to the world of fly fishing.
You are the perfect candidate for one of Hank's classes.
Yeah.
You should have been the 4th guy there in the class.
You're a blank canvas.
Truck nuts and Catfish.
I'm a blank canvas. I know what the word Orvis means, and that's about it. And a midget.
The worst thing that can happen. The worst thing that can happen to a fly fishing guide is like when you get a guy out there and he starts telling you that he really knows what he's doing.
I do know what I'm doing.
Right, because then you got to unteach everything. You know, I got to go through the entire process of letting him know that he's doing absolutely everything wrong, and we got to start from scratch. But a guy like you, who has absolutely no clue, and I can hear it in your voice, that, I mean, you're a blank canvas. I mean, I can just start with you like from scratch. I mean, you're like, you're like that soft, squishy baby.
How long would you need with someone that's a blank canvas? A soft,
15
squishy
minutes.
baby. 15 minutes.
How big are you? How big a guy are you? What do you
Me?
lift?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
220, almost pushing 6.
He's a big dude.
Right, okay. You're a big dude, right? You sound
Imagine
like
if
big dude.
Grizzly Adams had a son.
Yeah. I mean, all you got to do, fly fishing has absolutely it's fly casting, right? That's what it's all about, casting. The fishing is a very small part of the whole thing, right? It's all about casting.
Whippingbugs.com.
Yeah, you just smacking them around, right? And so all you need to know is that if you're a big guy, you can just throw it as hard as you can. That's it.
Yeah.
It's very, very simple. I mean,
promise,
if you can throw a rock, you can cast a fly rod.
I promised Sean that I would learn one day. And after watching Sean catch a peacock bass in Florida, I've been slightly more intrigued. If Sean wasn't sitting here, I'd tell you I was interested. But Sean's sitting beside me.
Well, the beauty of the fly rod is like if you bait fish, you fish with bait.
Yes.
You're sick. Anyway, but beyond the fact that there's something wrong with you, is everybody that catches a fish on a fly rod, they're like, oh man, that felt a lot bigger than it was, and that's why fly fishing got started, because like people that catch small fish wanted it to feel big.
Right. No, I get.
And so there you go.
I get that concept because we fish with the minimal equipment we can for the fish we're fishing with. We fish with a lot lighter tackle than what we should be fishing for big blue cats and things like that. Yeah.
4-pound heartbreaker.
I'm not going to go with the 4-pound heartbreaker, but yeah, I understand trying to push the limits on. Like we were using 10-pound test up in Sodas Point, New York, to catch the big lake trout, which was, and they're 80 feet down, which was an incredible fight in finesse, and so I completely understand, that point of it. Yep.
See, now if you were fly fishing, you would have fished with like a 7X, which is the equivalent of like a half-pound test, and you'd have just snapped the thing off. That's really what fly fishing's about. Yeah. It's not about catching a fish. I mean, that's a rare occurrence, quite frankly.
We're gonna put it back anyway.
I watched Sean's videos, and I've seen fly fishing on television, and it to me.
Oh God! So you've gone through the worst part.
I have. Yeah. It reminds me a lot of the beauty and the serenity of like slow motion walk, like beautiful backdrops of mountain creeks, of like really slow motion Gone with the Wind, which is the worst movie on earth. So. To me, I love nature. I love the running water. When Sean takes these pictures of these amazingly beautiful trout, like these native trout that fit in the palm of your hand, I just wonder why he gets cold for no reason to go out and catch something. They are gorgeous, but they're very small. But anyhow, I'm not busting on fly fishermen. I want to know from you guys why it is in your heart that all these people fall in love with fly fishing.
It's the Remember when we were talking about gambling earlier?
Yes, I'm a horrible gambler.
It's the exact same thing, right? So like you're out there, you're fly fishing, you see fish rising, and then you just keep throwing at them and keep throwing at them. It's just like you're pulling that handle.
Gotcha.
Right? You just keep pulling that handle, right? And then you become addicted to
Cha-ching.
it. And then, people are always like, oh man, the beauty and the world disappears. And it's like, because you're an addict, you have a problem. Right. I mean, so the beauty of fly fishing actually is just a sick addiction. It's I hate to take the beauty out of the whole thing, but you are in beautiful places while you're.
The gambling
like
thing,
fulfilling your habit.
I never thought of the gambling thing like that before, but how often is it you go out in your first or second cast, you catch a fish, just like when you walk through the casino and you throw a quarter in the slot machine and you hit,
Jeez, you're a
just
big
to keep
spender.
you there, and then it's the same thing.
Every time I catch a
double
fish, I make sure that everybody on the river knows, just like if I'm in a casino.
Yeah, speaking of that,
You hook a fish and it ding, 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 ding.
Hank, give us a couple of your catchphrases that you throw out so everybody on the
Yeah, you
banks
got a
knows.
ham bone, backpack, jammies, any of that. Peg leg, light bulb, anything. Just whatever comes to your mind as loud as you can, because everybody on the river enjoys knowing that you just hooked into a fish. Because there's nobody happier about you hooking into a fish than the guy about a quarter mile down the river. I mean, this is just like we all win, It's like when you're out fishing with a guy and he hasn't caught anything, and you haven't caught anything, and finally you hook up with a fish and he's like, well, at least one of us finally caught something. Like, it's like, dude, you're not happy. You're more pissed off. Let's not play this game. When I'm out fishing with another guy, if I haven't caught anything and he's catching fish, there's no part of me that likes him, that's happy for him. It sucks worse.
But don't you invite that guy that short drifts you and just jumps in your spot, throws in the same hole? I mean, when you're yelling like that, I think that's a hazard.
What's the hazard? Like bringing him up near me?
Yeah, we have some guys that would
take your shirt off. You start yelling like that, ain't nobody gonna come around.
Nice.
You're doing it wrong. You're doing it. Yeah.
I'm not flamboyant enough. Yeah.
I have never seen. Nobody ever wants to fish anywhere near me. It's
ham bone.
Yeah. Start throwing that out there. They're like, I don't want to be anywhere near this guy.
So, Hank, next spring, can I borrow peg leg? I think I might.
Absolutely.
I think I might use that one.
It's not a bad
backpack. Yeah. I got a cat named Backpack. That's where that came from. Meanest son of a bitch you ever met, this cat. It's like a half-pound cat, fully grown. Like, I don't know what kind of cat it is, but it's mean. It's probably just hissing and biting the shit out of something right now. So that's where Backpack comes in. If I've had a real hard day and I finally hook into a fish, and that's a mean fish, it's Backpack. Backpack. I'll send you guys a picture of Backpack that you can distribute to all the listeners.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, both of them.
It's
They're
another
cousins.
cousin.
Yeah.
Hell of a cat. It's a good fishing cat.
What makes a good fishing cat?
Just the angriness. Sharp claws.
What's your take on? I learned something from Sean. What's your take on these people that are called what are they, center pinners?
Oh yeah, center pinners. You got center pinners out there?
No, we don't. I've never gone center pinning. I don't really. I can admit something right now that I would never admit normally. I really have no idea what it really even is. I've been invited to go center pinning, and it doesn't sound good. I mean, when you know what I mean? Like when anything has a name, when all of a sudden you have to call it something other than, hey, you want to go fishing? Like all of a sudden it has some other name that's normally not good. So why don't Sean explain it to me?
Center pinning is a free spooling reel, fly reel, and it gives you a perfect drift. And you stand at the top of a hole, drift down through a hole with your bait, with your, whatever you're fishing. A lot of guys, it's a lot of bait fishermen, a lot of egg sacks, or egg patterns.
But aren't there guys lined on both banks that you're drifting your line through?
That's why they're hated. Yeah.
Oh God, that sounds majestic. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound good. Like what it is you're shoulder to shoulder with some guys all drifting through the same hole.
Yeah. Well,
all 45 of you have a perfect drift.
Yeah, but the center pinner is the guy that walks out in the middle of the creek.
Exactly.
And
at the top of the hole.
At the top of the hole and drifts his line through all you guys.
The first day of Trout,
They call him Backpack.
And a few other choices.
I don't know. I'm starting to like this guy now.
It's a productive way to fish.
This sounds like a guy that's willing to get things done at everybody's expense, and I can respect that.
He can take a punch too.
Yeah, and he better be able to take a punch.
I can totally picture this guy being in the center of the creek, though, with 100 guys lined shoulder to shoulder on both things and just walking out in front of all these guys in the middle of the creek and just yelling, ham sandwich.
American cheese.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go. Fish on.
Oh, my God. I'd love it. These guys would be so mad.
You brought up a guiding thing there a little bit ago. One of the things that kind of irks you or whatever, and I thought of one along the same line. You said about guys and know-it-all, being know-it-all fly fishermen. I like the guy that's been fishing for 4 or 5 years, and then you ask him how many times he went, and it's 6.
That's all. Yeah, that's a great one.
Hey, opening days.
Well, yeah, I know a little bit about what I'm doing. I've been fly fishing for 20 years.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, you go a lot? About once or twice a year.
Once a year, I'm making an annual trip.
I accomplished that last month. So the once or twice a year for 20 years, but all he recognizes is the fact that he's been doing it wrong twice a year for 20 years. I like those guys because it's like they go out there and they're going to spend like, $600-700 having a guide, and you're going to be like, so here, throw on a blue wing olive. And they're like, well, you know what I was thinking? Maybe throw on an Adams. Like, well, yeah, I was just here yesterday, the day before, the day before, the day before, the day before. I know every single turn in this river. You've never been here in your entire life. But yeah, throw on an Adams. Let's go with your program. I mean, I'm pretty sure you just paid me $700 for me to go, yeah, I think you're right. As opposed to here's what they're going to hit. Or the best is like when they bring like their wife or something. And then they tell you, it's like, oh, hey, I know what I'm doing. I got this thing handled. You probably need to pay a little bit more attention to her. She doesn't know what's going on. You get her about 6-7 fish ahead of the guy, and all of a sudden he wants a divorce. It's like, well, you got it handled over there.
Fly fishing keeps sounding better and better, Sean.
I'm telling you, you're missing out.
It's fantastic.
Well, Hank, if you could you give us just a quick little rundown maybe for the folks who maybe like catfish, thinking about getting into the sport? What's some of the equipment that somebody would need to pick up?
Oh, man. Well, you don't need a lot, right? I mean, you need a fly rod. You need a fly reel. You need some fly line. You're going to need some tippet. You're going to need flies. You're going to need some floatant. I mean, there's really not that much to it. You're going to probably want bobbers, strike indicators.
Strike indicator.
Make sure to get a strike indicator called a thingamabobber, and then get pissed off if somebody calls it a bobber, even though that's what it says on the package. You're going to need that. Like I said, you're going to need like 5,000 different kinds of flies. So you're going to need flies, but that's like, 5,000 different things. You're going to need a float tube. You're probably going to want to pick up a fishing kayak, maybe get a drift boat, probably a raft in case you're going to want to go down somewhere where a drift boat ain't going to, shallow water.
Hold on. I'm writing these down.
You're going to want to, if you want to really get this thing, next level and do any sort of still water, you're going to want a party barge. Right?
I'm still back at floating. Can you go back?
Yeah.
I wrote floating and then I lost
Right,
it.
yeah. No, you're going to want floating. Then you're going to want some of that powdery stuff that you put on there when it stops floating. And then you're going to want, a vest, and then you're going to want a pack, and then you're going to want a sling pack. So you got to have a hip pack. You got to have a sling pack. You're going to want one of them like necklace, like lanyards. So you're going to need a lanyard. You're going to need a waist pack. You're going to need a vest. And then this is all, trust me, you're going to need all this. And then you're also going to need a sling pack. Okay. Now, depending, are you left or right? Doesn't matter. You get a left-handed and a right-handed sling pack. You're going to need nippers. If you don't have nippers, you're going to need hemostats. And like I said, I mean, you could go down today and get everything that you need really easy. You hardly need anything at all. I mean, now this is just, of course,
that's wholesingersflyshop.com, right?
Yeah. Right, exactly.
You're going to need a good attitude, right? And then you're going to need beer.
Okay.
But let me just back all this up. So if you're going to need like 3 flies, a fly rod, and some beer, and you're good to go.
Okay.
But so all that other stuff is just like stuff that you're going to want to have eventually. But
I don't need that for day one.
Let me back up one more time. Here's what you really need. you need a buddy that has an extra setup, and you need beer.
Okay.
You need two things. You need a buddy who has an extra setup, and you need beer. That's it. And gas money. If you're going to go with me, you're going to need gas money. and you're going to want to bring sandwiches. You're going to need sandwiches.
And an easy pass.
Right, yeah. And then a tip. You're going to need a tip and an easy pass in your car. We don't have toll roads in Idaho, so just come out to Idaho. We're Montana. We don't have them up there either. So just come to Montana and Idaho. Well, I didn't see any toll roads in Alaska that I recall, so we could go fish there. Let's just start breaking it down to places we can go fishing. Denver's out because they have toll roads in Denver. So Denver's out. Plus, I can never figure out where I can go in Denver. So Denver's out. But we can go to like southern Colorado around, say Pagosa Springs, because there's no toll roads there because there's no people.
I like some of that.
good.
Very cool.
Did you write all that down?
We got it.
I mean, I got floating, and then I just jumped ahead to beer.
buddy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, you got it.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
I totally heard what he said.
If you jumped straight
Bring
ahead
beer
to
and
beer.
go fishing with you, Sean.
Yeah.
Now, I was watching your one video, and I've been fishing wrong for a while here because you said the only fly you need year-round is a hopper.
Yeah, hopper's a year-round fly, and that's what's sad is that people don't realize that because they think that fish have just forgotten what a hopper is because, I guess they have a short-term memory or something like that. But the fact is that, in the middle of the winter when fish are up there slurping little tiny midges, you want to throw something out there that they really want, throw out a hopper.
That's that thing I was talking about.
The midgets.
Yeah. And well, in the video, it's like a birthday cake, right? I mean, just because it's not your birthday doesn't mean you're going to forget what a birthday cake is. If somebody shoves a birthday cake in front of you, you're going to eat the thing, right? And so it's the same sort of thing. It's the birthday cake of flies.
Nice. The birthday cake of flies.
Ooh, I don't know if I've laughed this much on a podcast that I've been
Not about fly fishing.
Not about fly fishing, that's for sure.
No, we're not. You're not supposed to laugh about that.
Fly fishing's it's a stuffy group, isn't it?
Have you done this before, Will? Have you fly fished before?
Yeah,
Have you?
But I've used Sean's stuff.
Have you?
Yeah.
And I know you say.
Did you bring?
Steve,
Hey, Will, did you bring beer?
Afterwards,
you caught a pretty nice fish up in New York. Was that on a fly rod?
couple, yeah. It's all flies.
I'm missing out, I guess. I don't know.
With an egg sack?
No, it was a leech.
Powered bait.
Power bait.
Powered bait.
Powered bait.
Yeah.
Corn.
Rainbow.
Some canned sweet
Caught
corn.
her on a piece of corn.
Oh man, yeah. I actually saw one time, I can't remember which outfit put out a fly tying video, and they were literally teaching people how to tie an egg pattern. Which, if you don't know what an egg pattern is, it's basically if you go down to the Hobby Lobby, right, and then you find that section where maybe they have, you ever seen those curtains from the 70s, where they have those little tiny balls on them,
Dingleberries.
Those dingleberry things. You basically shove that thing on a hook. And somebody took the time to make a 45-minute fly tying video on it.
I didn't sink that low.
Which I thought to myself, first of all,
This
it's
was
it's not a
38
fly,
minutes.
it's an egg, right? The only difference between fishing with, say, a Potski egg and an egg there's no difference. It's the exact same thing. It's you're bait fishing.
Well, can
With
you
a fly rod.
Tell us your feelings on the San Juan worm.
On the San Juan. Again, that's the Hobby Lobby, right? Here's how you tie a San Juan worm. Well, first of all, as you know, the difference between fishing with a San Juan worm and a real worm is nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's bait fishing with a fly rod, right? And so if you want to tie a San Juan worm, what you do is you go down to the Hobby Lobby and you find some pipe cleaners, right? Look for pink, right? Get a pink pipe cleaner, take it home, tie it to a hook, right? And then what you want to do is take all your pride, put it in a box, and burn it because you don't have it. It's disgusting. It's not fly fishing, and everybody argues with me about that. It's sort of like the same thing when they start arguing with you about whether or not using a bobber is the same as using a bobber when you're bait fish. It's the exact same thing.
It is.
I think that
It accomplishes the same thing. Look,
I think I've actually met my exact opposite person on Earth.
Yeah.
Because I've done nothing in my life but put giant bluegills on hooks and wait. Pretty much in my life, waiting for giant catfish to grab bluegills. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I would like you to tie me a 4-inch bluegill fly so that I can use a fly rod to catch catfish. But apparently, is that still bait fishing?
Well, see, there's sort of that gray line, right?
Yeah,
because
it's a gray
most flies aren't flies.
They're fish.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, meaning
Right.
like, you
A
know,
lot of
like if you think
streamers,
about all the flies in your box, it's like, what kind of fly is that? It's a streamer. It's not a fly. It's a streamer.
Well, I saw a Helgermite thing that you tied.
yeah.
That looked pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that a bait? Is that a bait fly?
Well, yeah, it's bait. Yeah, Helgermite.
Yeah.
But that's
We'll call it a bait fly.
actually a nymph of a fly, though.
That's true. There's so many variables to fly fishing. I'm lost.
Yeah. Somebody probably should write a book. Somebody probably did write a book.
Maybe.
I'm not going to read a book.
My wife wants me to write a book on with my YouTube channel and stuff. She wants me to write a book on some of my patterns and stuff like that. And I said, honey, you have to read a book before you can write one.
Right. Yeah.
That's a prereq. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hank,
Well, I'll tell you. Here's the thing. If you just pictures, lots of pictures. Do a coffee table book.
That's what mine would be. A lot of pictures.
Are you kidding me? If you walked into a fly shop today and you saw two books sitting next to each other, right? And one of them was like page after page after page of words, and then the one next to it had a bunch of pictures of fish. You're going to buy the picture book.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? I mean, there's no way you're going to go for the one
You
called
could
the
do
words,
a pop-up
right?
book.
Yeah,
A
pop-up.
pop-up fly book. You open it up,
Yeah,
and
do a
this
pop-up,
mad
even better.
cat comes out of the closet and attacks you.
Around Christmas time like this? Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah.
you kill it.
Nobody wants to read a book. I mean,
Those
unless you have,
texture
if it's
books?
got a really nice cover on it, right? You might buy it like to set like around the house, like so people think you read it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. No,
Look
you
at my
don't.
bookshelf full of very fancy books that I've never read.
Yeah. Look at this. What is that?
Bend
What is
those
that?
corners.
I have many leather-bound books.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah, kind of a big deal.
So fishing in, do you do most of your fishing in Colorado? Am I wrong?
No.
Idaho.
Idaho, Montana. Yeah, Idaho, Montana.
So paint me a picture. I'm not a fly fisherman. What is
I don't
your
paint.
Get out.
What is your favorite thing to catch? Like, what's your perfect day?
Oh, rainbow trout.
Rainbow trout.
That's my absolute favorite thing to catch. I'll tell you what. Now, I love catching bass on a fly rod, like with poppers. So, which is pretty much the same as catching them on a, on a regular rod with poppers too, right? But I love that. But again, the difference is it feels bigger because it's on a fly rod. But I love catching bass on a fly rod. But steelhead and rainbow trout. That's my favorite thing to catch on dry flies.
Is this something,
if possible?
Is this something you can teach me to catch bass on the Susquehanna River? With
Yeah,
pop-
I was doing it when I was out there with the deeper guys. I was using the fly rod the whole time catching bass.
I have some bass poppers that I could send you guys that have a picture of me on there. So and that's nice. And it says paralyzer to the chode right on there. So on one side it says paralyzer to the chode, and then on the other side it's got a picture of me paralyzing the chode. So
I don't want to see that. I don't.
And you got the chode part of it that you got to leave to your own imagination. They wouldn't let us put that on.
I already
there,
went there.
Yeah.
I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah, but no,
Now-
if you came here, we would go fish for rainbow or brown trout. Now, brown trout have become, everybody loves catching brown trout has become, I think, I hear much more about people getting excited about brown trout these days, but for me, it's really angry rainbow trout when you can find them.
For us in our area, the brown trout, we have a great wild population of brown trout. And Pennsylvania is a huge fly fishing mecca, which a lot of the posts and stuff like that on the Instagram and all that come out of this area, and that's why you're getting a lot of brown trout. And the Great Lakes brown trout too.
Yeah. There's a lot of brown trout around here as well. But if you came here, we would go fish for rainbow trout. And you're welcome anytime.
If we could get Catfish out there, could you get him on one of those Cuddy Brown bows?
We can get you on a cut bow, Cuddy rain brown.
Is this like going ole hunting?
No.
Is this a
Golden
real
brown.
fish?
There's all kinds of different things.
What's the rivers like up there? Tell me, like where you pull in, how far do you typically go in a day? Like, what's the backdrop look like? Like, I'm very much in love with nature in the Susquehanna River, so I'm trying to see what it looks like through your eyes when you're in like your zone. What is there mountains out there? What's the river look like?
Yeah. So the beauty of it here is you've got your choice between high desert, which is high desert landscape, right? A lot of red rock and a lot of lack of trees and sagebrush, and that's where we go. And there's a lot of brown trout where I'm thinking there. And then, but the rest of it, I like to go into deeper canyons, into pine trees and up into the higher elevations, and that's sort of where I prefer to be. Gotcha. So it kind of, there's a real mix. It depends on what part of the state you're in, and my experience up in Montana is a lot more like higher mountain stuff with the big pine trees and that sort of stuff, and in Idaho you get a pretty good mix of in a day, on any particular river you might go through, areas that are sort of bigger mountains and pine trees, and then you'll kind of come out of that and you'll end up in some more of a desert area. It's really high desert in a lot of southern Idaho. Then you go up to northern Idaho towards Canada, then you start getting into more mountains and a lot more forest.
Gotcha. On a typical day, do you run into other guys out there? Like, because it seems to me like you're in a place that has a lot more land than it does sportsmen. Here in Pennsylvania, we have less land with more and more sportsmen. So
yeah, we have plenty of sportsmen. So I think it's probably the same as anywhere. The further you're willing to walk, the better your chances are of not running into other people. There's plenty of places out here that you can go where you're not going to run into people. And we have, I believe, and this is probably wrong, but I'm Hank Patterson. I can be wrong all day long. What the hell? It's right. This is the absolute God's honest truth right here. I believe Idaho has the most wilderness land in the country, the most designated wilderness land in the country. So if you want to really get deep into the backcountry, you can do it here, but you got to be willing to walk.
Sure.
Or float.
So, hey,
I mean, like float, like in a boat.
Yeah, not on your end.
Not
like river runs through it. Brad
not like
Pitt.
you die and start floating. Right? Yeah. There you go.
Hey, you had a big movie premiere last week. You want to talk a little bit about that?
I did. Yeah. So I've got a new. It's a 6-part web series called Hank Patterson's Camp Hagadagada, and Hagadagada is spelled like it sounds, and it sounds like it's spelled.
Okay.
And basically, it tells the story of how I got fired as a fishing guide because in 137 trips, not a single client caught a fish, and
that's not
my
your fault, right?
Hey, look, I put them in a position to catch fish. That's my job, right? You can't set a hook. That's your problem. But it's interesting because it's a 6-part series. And there's really there's maybe a minute and a half of fishing in the entire thing. So we'll see how
that
everybody.
Might be a stretch.
Well, it's a lot like fly fishing. Then it's a lot like
It
fly
is.
fishing.
It is. It is. And that, it's a lot like it, right? Because you go out and you cast like 10,000 times and you catch 2 fish and you're like, oh man, I had a really good day. It's like you went casting today. It's the same sort of thing. Eventually you get some fish in the thing. And I went ahead and put all the fishing in the 6th episode just so I could, so people keep watching.
Yeah, it's the big payoff.
People are like, man, is this guy ever going to fish? And it's like, just keep watching. Just keep watching. So it's a little different, but it's on Amazon Prime, and Vimeo on demand. I think is what it's called. Yeah, Vimeo on demand. Amazon Prime. You have Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You can watch it tonight.
I was sick this week, and I missed some work, so I binge watched Camp Hagadagada.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It was pretty good.
If you're sick or like if you're lightheaded or something like that,
was
or
me.
You're drunk, it's going to be fantastic.
It was on cold medicine, it's hot.
Cold,
awesome.
Yeah, cold medicine.
Hopped up on the night.
Oh yeah,
that's good.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You got to be hopped up on something, then you're really going to enjoy. Best viewed drunk. Yeah. So people are like, if anybody comes to me and they're like, I don't know if I really liked it. It's like, I don't think you were drinking enough. let's try to do this. Go drink more beer and watch it again. And they always come back and they're like, I don't even remember it. And I'm like, you loved it. There you go.
Tell us about your friends in the show.
Tell me about who? What?
Your friends in the show. Tell us about them. You had quite a few.
There's a lot of people. Yeah. So I got my buddy Nick. He just got out of prison, and so we decided to put him in it, right? Because we thought, there's probably he didn't have anything else to do. He has no future. He just got out of the joint.
Get out of prison is you use that term kind of loosely, right?
Well, he excused himself from prison. And he no longer felt the institution had anything to offer. And so he went ahead, and it was minimum security sort of a situation, and it was very minimum what they were doing as far as watching him. So he ended up on there, and I don't know where he is now. I haven't seen him in a while. But so we got him. We got my cousin Wally, and he's just some drunken... Yeah, you got to just watch the show. I don't know. And then of course I got my girlfriend Amber in there. And then a lot of the story is about whether or not, she's going to take me back because, I've sort of broken up with her sort of thing. And then, then out of desperation, and then I was living in her house, then I was like, oh man, I should probably try to get back together with her because I got fired from a job and stuff. And I thought, now's not a good time for me to break up. So
not at all.
That's sort of some of the storyline. And then of course I'm just taking over a summer camp trying to, remold the thing more, in my own image. And you can imagine that that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So it's like a coming of age story is what I'm getting from this. I like it.
Yeah. It's my coming of age story. It's like, I'm finally growing up in it. At the end of it, it's just like, there's a lot of meaning. And
I got a lot of wisdom out of the parts that I saw.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of a lot of people are watching it just going, wow, I learned a lot.
I told the guys before I came here tonight, I said, I want to be better than number one at this show.
Right. Yeah. Right. 0. Right. Put a 0 after 1 and you got yourself a 10. See how amazing that is?
This dude sounds like a riot to go fishing with. Listen, if I come out there, can we find other fishermen in the middle of the desert pine tree places and wear Bigfoot outfits and scare the shit out of them? Chase them into the river? Because, in between the 10,000 casts, there's got to be other things to do.
No. Yeah, well, no, yeah, you come out. Well, yeah, we can get weird.
Absolutely.
Come on now. Come with it.
Just sounds fun.
It's all good. We just, like I said, I don't, it's what do they say? What's that guy? Is it Thoreau that said it's, you're like on your deathbed, you figure out that it was never the fish that you were after or something like that?
Yeah, it was
so
Thoreau.
Wouldn't that piss you off, right? If all of a sudden, at the end of the whole thing, you're thinking, oh man, it was never the fish that I was after. You'd be like, well, that sucks for you, dude, because if you could have not had to buy that fly rod and you could have just taken a camera up there. That's the stupidest quote. People are like, have you ever read that quote? And I'm like, yeah, I've read that quote. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Here's the idea. Thoreau sucked at fishing. That's what I got out of that quote. It's like, here's a guy that's like, oh, wait, it was never about the fish. The hell it was. It was always about the fish.
I was just going to say, Stevie, is that true?
Why are you beating yourself up? Why are you torturing fish if it's never about the fish? Just go up there and go for a hike, crying out loud. It's all about the fish.
It's all about the fish.
Yeah,
Stevie will tell you that.
To you.
Stevie will push you over to get in a hot fishing spot.
Don't walk away from it. Absolutely.
It's all about the fish.
Yeah. So on your YouTube channel, Hank, you have quite a few sort of tips and tricks and bits of advice that you've picked up. Is there anything you'd like to share?
Don't ask about nymph fishing, but let's see what else.
What about those nail clippers?
There's got to be some, hot tips
the
here
nail
that
clippers.
Could really.
That came from a non-fisher right there. What about the nail clippers?
Amen to that, brother. He's sitting across your lap.
Orvis nail clippers. How many pairs of the Orvis nail clippers do you have? What's funny about that is they're nail clippers. They're absolutely nail clippers with a little needle. It's like, all right. But anyway, is there any tips that I have?
Yeah, well, it's something that, a beginning fly fisher would just have to know?
You need a fly
Hire a
rod,
guide.
bud.
Bring your credit card. Crying out loud.
Truth.
Big
Like,
tips.
everybody's always like, it's amazing. It's like anything in life. Everybody thinks that, it's like, I'm not going to hire a guide. I don't want to, it's like me in college, right? It's like, I can learn that without college. And then I never learned any of the stuff that they teach in college because I didn't go. And so you're never going to learn anything about fly fishing unless you drop some coin on a guy like me. I'll take you out. I'll teach you everything that you need to know.
In 15
Like
minutes.
that's
right?
the best tip that I can give you right there. And speaking of tips, if you're going to hire me, you're going to want to bring one. Right. And then, so I get asked a lot of questions. It's like, hey, what's a proper tip for a fly fishing guide? And I'm like, it's 95%. Right. So
Amen.
you hire me to go out and take you fishing, right? You're going to bring the $600 to $700. Let's say $700. That's the day. And then a 95%, the day's going to cost you $14.50.
Out the
And
door.
so bring $14.50, and then if you're a fly fishing guide, here's a tip: get that PayPal reader or maybe that Square reader, and then you can take a card right there on the river, and then you see with your smartphone. I mean, this is like the future of everything is having those little readers, and so anyway. So that's my tip: is hire a guide and bring a tip.
So my biggest problem with fly fishing is I spin fish a lot, and so I can't change that
repetition
movement in my arm to cast. Give me some pointers on how to do that.
How to work that.
How do I work? How do I
Hire a
make
guide.
that? Other than hiring a guide,
How do you get rid of the muscle memory?
how do I make that transition into fly fishing?
Well, so you're spin casting, right? You're
Hell
going to
yeah.
pick up your rod, and then you're going to sort of point it like backwards at about like 1 o'clock, something like that, right? Then you're going to bring it forward, and you're just going to sort of like let it go, and then the little thing flips over or whatever. I don't ever do it. So, but from what I've seen with guys that are bait casting, right? You're going to pick up the rod, you're going to take it back, and then you're going to throw it forward, right?
Yeah.
Right? Just do that over and over.
That exact motion.
You good with that?
Just do it over and over. Yeah, and do it fast. Right? And then the other thing is people ask me all the time, they're like, "Oh man, how far can you cast a fly rod? Do you cast a fly rod 100 yards?" I'm like, "I don't know. I can walk 90." Okay? It's a stupid thing, but let's just say if you want the fly to go further, then what are you going to do? Throw it harder.
Like
It's just
really
like
get
throwing a
like
baseball.
get that snap going in it, I guess, right? Like really
Yeah, it's like a
snap your
bullwhip.
shoulder
yeah,
hard.
I mean that's
Okay.
yeah. Well, you want the labrum to start to tear a little bit, right? But
A little.
That's but you just want to do it over and over and over, same motion over and over and over and over and over and over and over, right? Back and forth, and then the sound, of course, that you're looking for. You know that you're bringing your forward cast at the right time if you hear that snap, right?
Okay.
It's sort of like a bullwhip, right? And so that's it. And then just as hard as you can, as fast as you can. And then that's what you call false casting, right? And so that motion over and over and over and over, that's called false casting. And then when you finally stop that casting on your forward motion and you land the fly, that's called casting. So really, your casting is the exact same as casting, in bait fishing, right? Because it's just the one time, right? The only difference is in fly fishing, we do like 700 false casts before the real thing happens.
Oh, maybe I'm just making this harder than it needs to be. Then I guess it sounds like it.
It's just such a
I just
serene,
explained
beautiful.
it very well.
Yeah.
It's such a serene, beautiful.
You're going to be
picture.
the Indiana Jones
Yeah.
of fly fishing
And
scene.
it sounds like such an angry way to fish.
If you
Might as well beat the fish to death
let
with
me
the
let me
rod.
say this: if you go and you get like the River Runs Through It soundtrack by Mark Isham, right? And then you take that and then you just start playing that in your car, and then you play back over the top of that me explaining how to cast just now, and then just close your eyes.
Okay.
And that's the beauty of it. It's you're gonna just
So inspiring.
you're gonna disappear into the poetry of fly fishing. Trust me.
I love it.
If one of you wants to sing that right now, right? And then I could explain it while one of you sang that.
I don't know if we'll have any
Right.
takers on that.
I think you're out. No takers on that one.
Okay, I'll sing it. Oh, hold on. And then
And we'll just, we can dub it.
yeah. Man, did you guys hear that podcast? Hank started singing. Glorious.
It was
glorious.
Magnificent.
Have you ever done a podcast before, Hank?
I think I have. Yeah. I think I've done one or two podcasts. Not many though. I like it. I just assume you cut most of this. If it's anything like the videos I make, you're going to cut most of this out. And so like this part right here, like me talking about cutting it out, you can cut that out. I mean, it's like, well, we're not going to leave the part where he's talking about cutting stuff out.
No, that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
You won't
Of course,
remember
now,
what I cut
leaving
out.
in now that I'm saying that you should take out the part that where I'm talking about cutting it out is sort of a really good argument for leaving it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because then people are like, "Oh, that's so funny. They're leaving in the part where he's saying to cut it out." So that's good. That's gold. Now and then all that stuff about me getting like Turnpike tickets, that right there, yummy. You kidding me?
I think you got a bright future in podcasting.
I don't think you guys do if you keep me on your show much longer. I think that I think we've probably really screwed each other tonight. It's like, oh man, these guys.
Oh, you're good.
My 80,000 fans, I'm sure. No.
Well, speaking of, bumping up on time, I want to say thanks for doing this. This has been wonderful. Sean getting a hold of you. This has been really great.
No, it's great. Yeah, I appreciate you asking me and putting up with me and having me on your show. Again, I mean, I've set the bar very low. So whoever, you have on your show next should probably send me, some beers because it's like, oh man.
Well, I tell you what, for years and years, we just talked to Casey Bones from Texas. We've talked to other fly fishermen, and Tyler Dunn loves to fly fish. And Sean's sitting here with me, my brother that is, fly guide, owns a fly shop. Everybody's been trying to sell this to me for years, but it's taken you and it's taken the humor to actually light the fire that I think now I want to try it.
Yeah.
And it's been 10 years in the making of me making fun of it, but I appreciate it because now I really do want to try it.
He's taken it from oil paintings to finger paintings. It's more,
and that's what it's what it needed.
Yeah.
It needed to go back to because everybody takes it so serious,
right?
Yeah.
That finally somebody that I can relate to that goes, well, if I can go and fly fish and have fun with it like this, then maybe I'll do it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's a good time. You'd absolutely love it. I mean, there are different levels of how serious people take it, and there's different levels of why or how they take it so serious. You get the guys that
we were
really into every kind of bug and all that kind of stuff, and then you get the But I'm asked a lot of times. People ask me all the time. They're like, "Hey, do you think people take fly fishing too seriously?" And my answer is always no. Which I think surprises people. I said, no, I don't think they do. I said, it's not for me to tell somebody how seriously or not seriously to take fly fishing. But I mean, when it comes right down to it, I've never found fly fishing to be the meaning of life. What I find it to be is the most enjoyable thing that I can find to do in life. And so I don't take it that seriously. I just go out, try to have a good time, try to catch some fish. And making these videos, it gets me in a position where I can, go around the country and speak at shows or meet guys like you on a show like that. And probably the greatest thing fly fishing ever gave to me was the ability to meet people that also enjoy the outdoors and also enjoy going out and getting on a river and having a beer and fishing and catching a few fish. And so I don't take it too seriously. Just because all it really gives me is sort of a good time. So,
amen.
Well,
Amen.
I would actually disagree with you, though, Hank.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm just full of shit, buddy. I'm just.
But what I'm saying is, you take fly fishing very seriously. You don't take yourself too seriously. That's the difference there.
There you go. Yeah, I do. I love it. You know, I like to learn as much as I can about it, and I like to go out with people that know a little bit less than me, so that I can make sure to lord my knowledge over them, and
Always
that sort of
makes you feel
thing.
a little better.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I like to feel better about myself. I mean, the first phone call I make when I'm driving out to the river is to a buddy who I know is at work. I mean, and again, it goes back to the first thing that you do when you catch fish is make a lot of noise about it. Why?
Backpack!
So people know that you're better than them. I mean, yeah, backpack is just another way of me screaming, I'm better than you.
Yeah. I'm sticking with peg leg.
You suck. Peg leg.
Ham bone.
Oh, my God. Thanks, Hank. We appreciate it, brother.
So
hey, thanks for having me on.
How can people learn more about you? What are the ways people can contact you? And
well, it don't bother me, but
just leave you alone.
Yeah, go to hankpatterson.com.
Easy.
And then at hankpatterson.com, you really can email questions or anything like that, or watch all the videos, or you can get to Camp Hagadagada, where you can go to Amazon and Amazon Prime and watch it, and then I make money.
Sweet.
Right. And then I should also mention, so when we go out, we show Camp Hagadagada, and people go and they watch it online, or they buy it on Vimeo, or they buy it on Amazon. All of that money that comes in goes directly to me.
Perfect.
I felt like that maybe people would be more inclined, just knowing that it goes to something like, well, to me.
Yeah, great cause.
My beer
Great
fund.
cause.
And so, yeah, it's just.
Can't think of a better.
And again, if you guys want to start a GoFundMe page, that'd be cool too. I was left home alone as a child, so if you guys want to maybe
bless your heart.
That's terrible.
I know it is. It's hard. It's hard. My dad used to always play this game all the time. I'd go home, we'd play this game called "I'm Not Your Real Dad," and stuff like that. He's the guy that actually taught me all about the wilderness, because he would take me out. He'd drive me like way out into the middle of the backcountry, like 5-6 hours into the backcountry, and then we'd play this game where he'd just kick me out of the car and leave me. And then sometimes it'd take like a week or 2 or 3 weeks for me to find my way back home, and then we'd play this other game like where he pretended like he was disappointed I made it back. And then anyway, I knew you'd want to know about my childhood.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys got along pretty well.
Yeah.
A lot of games.
That was great. It was great. Here's a joke that I like to tell. He taught me how to swim, right? And it's just like teaching you how to do anything in the backcountry. You just take a kid out there and just, have them teach themselves. And so I remember when he taught me how to swim, he took me out and he takes me all the way down to the deep end of the pool, and he throws me in there, and I start crying and whining. And he's like, "You think that's hard? Wait till we put water in it." Oh. I've been working on that joke for a while.
All right. Hey, Hank, we're really pleased that you come on here with us
Let me talk
tonight.
about my mom now. Okay. No. All right, thank you.
But we're going to have to cut her off for the night, I think. Maybe we'll have you back on again some other time, because I think we can keep this going for quite a while.
This needs to happen again.
Excellent. Yeah, right. I had a good time.
Yeah, thanks,
Well,
bud.
let's wait until we see the numbers before we.
Yeah.
We're not going to commit to anything right now.
I would not.
All right, thanks, Hank. Take it easy, bud.
Thanks.
So, Sean, thanks for hooking us up there with Hank.
Oh, no problem. I haven't laughed that long.
I know.
That much in a long time.
He was a pretty funny guy.
That dude's hilarious.
But anyways, hey, Ryan.
Yeah, bud.
Where can they find us?
Well, they can find us at. Oh, DK's upset.
Hey. All right, hold on.
Go ahead, DK.
Hey, David Kyle.
No, wait, Stevie. Ask
sorry.
the question the way you did again, and this won't get edited out. But go ahead.
Oh,
Just
you gonna
ask the
short drift him?
No, just ask the question the way you did.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah, buddy.
Where can they find us?
I'll tell you where they can find us. DK, go ahead.
You can find us at RuttenRiverPursuitsPodcast.com, R2 Pursuits on Instagram, Rutten River Pursuits on Facebook, and Rutten River Pursuits Podcast on YouTube.
Look at that.
Holy
Sometimes I put the www.
You really don't need to.
I
Though.
don't think you need to, bud.
Actually, it's
HTTPS : Welcome to 2007.
Also, if you just Google
Are we a secure
Right in
site
River
now?
Pursuits podcast, it takes you to all of our stuff.
There's nothing secure about us.
we're insecure. It's HTTPI :
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, guys. This is great.
Yeah, it's great being back in the studio, guys.
Sean, the Fly Guy's back in the studio.
Good to have you,
What?
buddy. Great to see you.
What if people want to download the podcast, David Kyle?
You can find us on
iTunes,
Stitcher,
Google Play,
and Castbox.
All right, guys. Later.
See ya.
Rig 'em weedless.
Bait fishermen are the best.
Throw them midgets.
And I'm just sort of standing off to the side, and these two guys come up and they're like, excuse me. And I'm like, yeah, it's a couple of the football players. Are you Hank Patterson?
No way.
I'm in the frickin' Poconos here. I'm like, I am.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, wow. And so then I had a camera with me. I said, here, hold that. So I made them hold my stuff and carry all my gear for me. It was cool. But yeah, I can't remember them.